Hey everybody, it's me, Source Mark here, and I'm back for my JAD setup video that I said I was going to do. I know I didn't set a particular date for it, but I decided I'm going to do it today. So yeah, we're just going to talk a little bit about, what you should have, stats, armor, inventory, stuff like that. So first thing we're going to start off with is stats. These are my stats that I have. What I would personally recommend is 50 prayer. You need 43 for protect from melee. 43 is the absolute necessity, but 50 is a good number. I would say that you don't want to do it with less than 50. Range 70 and defense 70. You want both of those to be at 70. They're good numbers, and you should work fine. Those are really the only stats you need, because unless you somehow have like 10 HP, you should be fine. If you're worried about your HP, I'd recommend like 70 to 80. Those would be the numbers I would recommend for your lowest levels. But anyway, those are stats. There's really only 4 stats you need to worry about: your health, your defense, your range, and your prayer. Other than that, it really doesn't matter what your stats are. But yeah, let's move on to the gear. Okay, this is the absolute welfare at the pretty much the lowest end you could possibly go. I don't use this. I don't like using it. I've never had to use it. What I prefer to use is, it's a black D high top, rune plate legs, dragon boots, barrows gloves, rune crossbow, Ava's accumulator, Neotiz knot. If you're doing a Slayer task, you can just use a full Slayer helmet. That's what I use. Broad bolts and diamond bolts. I pretty much only use broad bolts though. Amulet of Glory, rune square shield or kite shield. Pretty much welfare. And then whatever ring. If you want to bring like a ring of recoil for a little bit, sure, be my guest. But that's not what I use. What I tend to use is this. Slayer helmet, Carol's top, Varrock's bottom, Archer's ring, Holy Book. If you're a little bit more worried about your defense and you don't really care about your prayer, then you can put on a Dragon Square Shield. Tends to help a bit. I like the 5 more prayer you get with it. You don't get as much defense, but if you do fight caves like I do, you really don't need to worry about defense as much, because basically when you're in fight caves, you try to trap them as much as you can. That's typically your biggest goal whenever you do fight caves, is you want to trap them, and I'll talk about trapping more when I do the video of being inside. But that's pretty much the equipment you want. This is like moderate gear. If you want to be completely wealthy, you can just have Armadale top. If you want to be full out, you could have, I don't even know what the top range gear is. It's like Plevix or something. I don't know. I don't pay attention to it. You could have that, Torva bottom, Elysian, Archer's ring imbued. I mean, your setup only really matters what you want. There's also a method of using Guthans. I never use Guthans, but you can. Really, it's all about experimenting. I used this setup when I beat Jad my first time, and I don't really want to change from it because it's good and it works for me. But let's talk about inventory, and I'll talk more about setup as well. So I'll be right back with a good inventory. Okay guys, I'm back, and I now have an inventory. Before I go any further, I just wanted to say, this is my guide. This is what I do, and it works for me. What I do may not work for you, but it's what works for me. So if there's something that you do differently, that's great. How do you do? I don't care. It's my guide. Make your own guide if you think you can do something better. But you could very well do something better than me. But it works for me. I get the job done. And might as well show you. And I have 2 fire capes to prove it. Yes, they're real. I have 2 fire capes. I've done this twice, and I've had the Slayer task 3 times. I've only lost once, and that was my first time because I was panicking. But I've only died once out of the 3 times I've been in there. so I know what I'm doing and it works. Anyway, onto the inventory. What I like to use is I have broad bolts equipped. I use those mainly. For some reason, I always hit better with them, even though with diamond bolts you get a higher ranged strength. I always hit better with broad, so I always use them. Then 12 prayer pots, 2 ranging potions, 5 Sarah brews, and 13 super restores. Now the reason I use so many prayer pots is because rarely do you ever have to really eat before you use a super, or rarely do you ever have to eat when you need prayer at the same time, but you may just need prayer in general, so that you just use a prayer potion so you don't have to waste a Ceratomin brew and a super restore. And then I bring 2 ranging potions. Some people only bring 1. I bring 2 because my range isn't very high, but when I get towards the end and you're getting like 1 360 and 1 180 and 190 and all the other stuff going on, you kind of want to get through those as fast as possible, so that's when I usually tend to drink a ranging potion and try and get through it as fast as I can. And then my last one, I'll actually put this up on the screen right now. The last time I did this was my inventory I had left over. It was, I still had 8 full prayer potions left. I still had a dose of ranging potion left. I had 14 doses of Ceratomin brew left, 2 full super restores, my 2 emergency food left. I mean, it wasn't even really difficult for me last time. But yeah. And this thing at the bottom, the Holy Wrench, you get it from the Cabin Fever quest. It's very handy. You get an extra dose, or you get an extra prayer point whenever you drink a dose of prayer potion. So I definitely recommend you get this. In the long run, it'll save you because you get 12 more doses from your prayer potions, and you get 3 more doses from your super restores. Well, in essence. And then typically you would want to have a Ceratomin God Sword. Get one lent to you. It works. It's what I always use, and it works really well. Heals your health and your prayer, so you don't have to waste prayer potions in your emergency food. But yeah, that is pretty much it for my Jad setup guide. The next video will be in the caves, telling you how to kill all the monsters and how to trap them mainly. So thank you guys for watching. I don't know when that next part's going to be up, but I will let you, subscribe, like it, and I will have that uploaded as soon as I get another Jad task. So thank you guys. Have a great day.
Think twice, 'cause it's another day for you and me in paradise.